They go about and they commit their crime.
Is Senator Feinstein's bill to revive the gun ban, the assault weapons ban, is that going to pass?
I think that is a phony piece of legislation, and I do not believe it will pass.
Do you think it won't pass, and you think there won't be any, you wouldn't support any reduction of capacity magazines?
You know, we don't think it works, and we're not going to support it.
Part of this panel that's convened by the president, by the vice president, are you interested in a conversation with the administration about gun safety measures?
If it's a panel that's just going to be made up of a bunch of people that for the last 20 years have been trying to destroy the Second Amendment, I'm not interested in sitting on that panel. The American public supports their freedoms. NRA is not going to let people lose the Second Amendment in this country, which is
new gun regulation that you could support.
I'll tell you what would work right now. Tomorrow morning, and the NRA would be there every step of the way, if President Obama would walk in and tell the Attorney General of the United States to tell every U.S. attorney, if you catch a drug dealer on the street with a gun, I want you to prosecute him, take him off the street. Violent felon, violent criminal, take him off the street. Look, if every...
So there is no new gun regulation that you would support?
This is what would work. If every U.S...
Mr. Lapierre, I'm asking you a direct question. Is there any new gun regulation you'd be willing to support?
I'm giving you the answer.
No, you're saying we should prosecute more criminals. I'm asking you if there's a new gun regulation, you know, after the debates of the 90s and so forth today, could we make the assault weapons ban better, the ammunition ban any better, any more effective?
You want one more law on top of 20,000 laws when most of the federal gun laws we don't even enforce. If 25,000 violent crimes a week in the country, and at the scene of the crime, it's the criminal and the victim. But
isn't it striking, Mr. Lapierre, that your goal is to reduce violence in this country? And I think back to the reaction after the Oklahoma City bombing. I think back to the reaction after 9/11. Nobody said there was one thing that was going to work. Look at how extensive the federal government's powers that they sought. Roving wiretaps, all kinds of counterterror procedures. Some work, some don't. But the feeling was they were worth trying, and that was your standard. That's what you said on Friday. If it's worth trying, why not do it? That's your position on armed guards, and a lot of people would agree with you. But nothing having to do with gun safety, and yet you seem to excuse the role that guns play in violence in this country.
Look, a gun is a tool. The problem is the criminal. Every lunatics could care less. You've got to get them off the street. You've got to get them into treatment. And we're not doing that in this country.
Has the environment changed, Mr. Lapierre? The Supreme Court has reaffirmed gun owners' rights in this country. Mayor Bloomberg was on this program saying last week, you tried to get the president not to be reelected. You failed in that effort.
You know, the American people, I know one thing about them. They value their freedom. And when the reality of the consequences of what the politicians in this town and the media and the elites want to do to their Second Amendment rights and take them away, I think they'll do what they've done historically. They'll defend the freedom.
If there is an approach after Newtown that includes mental health, that includes gratuitous violence in our media, in our gaming industry, and includes gun regulations, will you support it or oppose it?
We are going to support what works, putting an armed guard in every single school. We're going to try to fix the mental health system. We want people prosecuted. We're going to do what protects the American public. That's what we've always done, and that's why I'm proud of the NRA, and I think that's why people join the NRA, to protect their freedom.
Mr. Lapierre, we thank you for your views.
Thank you, David.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for having me.